This week, we are taking a look at the final three messages of warning to our world. First angel's message found in Revelation 14:6 and 7. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation, and kindred, and tongue, and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God, and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth, and the sea, and the fountains of waters. An angel is a messenger. This messenger comes declaring the everlasting gospel. Everlasting is an interesting term to use when dealing with finite humanity. However, it is not too far outside our scope of comparison. We learned in the beginning of this series about God's eternal constitution, that is the expression of his character. It existed before us and will continue to endure throughout eternity. Likewise, the gospel, the good news of salvation, is also eternal in its nature. Like the Constitution, Adam and Eve learned of the gospel as soon as they sinned, because the plan existed long before sin came to be. The mercy shown in redemption is equally a part of God's character as his constitution. The Israelites carried this plan in their ceremonial services, daily enacting the events of the gospel in their annual cycle. After Jesus fulfilled the earthly aspect, he commanded his disciples to continue preaching this good news the way Israel was meant to. What makes this everlasting message so special for now? The message makes a special point to inform us that our Creator is our judge, and that we are being judged on how we regard our Creator. The message calls us to worship the Creator, reminding us of the fourth commandment, which expresses why we rest on the seventh day. Because that is the day our Creator blessed, and the day he stopped his work. The second angel's message of Revelation 14:8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The second messenger brings a declaration of Babylon's destruction. Many of you may be asking, didn't Babylon fall back in 539 BC? Yes, they did. But the spirit behind them still looms large in the world today, hard at work in the civil religious power of Rome. This power is hard at work engineering worship of itself, willingly or by force. However, God has already declared it to be fallen in this message. The reason why she is fallen is because this church has forced all the nations of the world to participate in her ungodly idolatrous practices. The third angel's message of Revelation 14:9-11. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up for ever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. This message declares judgment on all who choose to worship this false religion, whether decidedly or by fear. It is very clear about the punishment to be poured onto this false church, with its idolatry and all who adheres to her dictates. We've learned that as a part of God's character, there is mercy intertwined with his justice. However, the willful nature of this organization and the faithless defiance of all who join in their disobedience draws out God's undiluted, justified wrath. Who survives? Revelation 14:12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. With the widespread nature of this organization, who will avoid this outpouring of justice? The scripture is also very clear about this. Those who keep the commandments of God, the everlasting constitution, and have the faith of Jesus. Many misquote this verse and say faith in Jesus. And while we need to have faith in Jesus, we also need to develop the faith of Jesus. While living on earth, Jesus exercised unyielding faith in the power of the Father to sustain him against all the enemy's temptations. Likewise, we as Jesus' followers are to develop unflinching faith amidst all the threats and attacks of the enemy. In order to survive what is coming on the earth, we need to be patient in obedience and unyielding in our faith in God to finish his good work in us. Next time, we'll tie all this information together in relation to the changes that brought us to our original question. How did we get here?